bringing you someone absolutely extraordinary for you to blow up your business. This week, we're going to talk to Steve Noblet. Hey, brother, nice to have you here, my friend.
So good to be here, Trevor. Awesome.
You know, you're one of my favorite people because you always make me smile so much, man. Can't believe it.
I love life.
Yeah, I just make me smile. So today's episode is all about helping you create a big ticket sales. What do we write down? Big ticket, big dollar clients. And I'm talking here with Steve. We've had so much fun together. We became friends years ago. We actually have partnered with a couple of clients together. I did one of my biggest deals ever with this cat, and he knows sales inside and out. But what's cool here, I want to go ahead and read some of this stuff. Steve is an award-winning marketer. So he doesn't just market, he wins freaking awards with it, and he's made millions and millions of dollars for his clients. When I was talking to Steve, hey man, what should I say all about you to tout you up? He's like, you know what? It's more about what my clients have created. So he and I are on the same page with that. And he's worked with huge companies like Apple, Intel, Charles Schwab, Nestle. And what's cool is that not only does he help these huge clients, but he helps average Joes. That's what I think I am, right? And entrepreneurs use those same strategies to create success. So you guys are in for a treat because this is the man.
I appreciate it, brother.
Woo!
I can't get any better than that, man. Just shedding the love.
Your head's so big now. All right, brother. So talk to me.
I know. Can you fit it on the screen?
Talk to me. What are you doing now to do big ticket sales and close some big clients? What's your thing?
Well, a lot of things are just being out there, having exposure, getting out there into the world, and that is speaking. So I leverage myself by being an expert in what I am, and that allows me to get exposure with big people. And they see you out there speaking, teaching, coaching, consulting around the world, and so they want to talk to you. So just positioning, I guess, is the right word to say.
Absolutely, right? Brother. And this whole month, I'm promoting my book, High Paying Clients, which is why we're talking about. We had to pick a subject, right? I could talk to you about a million things, but this is about, I think, positioning is everything, and that's the reason why I want someone to have a book to build their business, because it gives you that positioning. Public speaking is, I think, the best, personally. For me, it's been the greatest way for me to position my expertise, but people are sometimes scared to, that's a number one fear, right? Public speaking.
Yeah.
So, how else do you tell clients to position themselves? Because right now you speak, and we just talked about, I think the value of books is what I talk about a lot, but how else do you position your clients?
Well, yeah, sometimes maybe if you don't want to speak in front of the room, you can position yourself through social media as well. You can be behind your computer and just typing, as long as you're adding value. I think the thing about a book, speaking, or even being on social media is that you're adding value. You're not out there pitching necessarily, you're actually adding value, and then they want to work with you. Some of my biggest engagements, I was speaking once, and I just shared exactly what we did to win an award on one of our campaigns, and I tracked $1 million in revenue from that, and I didn't sell at that event. I just shared, but see, what is selling? That's what we should question, right? The whole time I'm positioning myself, that makes the sale easier. So if you're afraid of speaking, I would recommend getting out there in social media, getting into groups that are exciting to you, that are for your perfect client. They're where they are hanging out, and then give value. And you can do it right from behind your own keyboard.
All right, brother. So I just did a Facebook post recently where I talked about how much money you've got in your bank account is a direct reflection about how much value you've given to other people. And I got some flack. I got feedback going, that's not true. I wish that was true. That sounds like some kind of, hypey motivational speaker thing. What do you think?
I think that they're wrong. I agree with what you said, Trevor, and it's not just us. You think about some of the past greats. Zig Ziglar said, help everyone else have what they want and you'll get what you want. My friend John Assaraf from The Secret, who I've hung out with quite a bit, we've done events together, and he always said to me over and over, he said, Steve, you don't worry about making $1 million. You figure out how to give $1 million of service away, and that $1 million will come back to you. And it's not just, if you're still thinking about the money, you didn't go far enough. You literally have to put the money aside and say, how am I going to give so much value? And that, it just comes back. And sometimes I get up and down on that, and in my life, I'll just be honest. Sometimes I was thinking, I need more money or this or that for my family. But then I'm like, forget that shit. Listen to my mentors. And I start focusing on giving. And then all of a sudden my bank account grows.
Well, I love it, brother, and I tell people to stop being freaking selfish. Stop communicating in your pattern and find out what people actually want and give it to them. My father-in-law just told me recently this story about this guy that was going to networking events, and he went for like 8 months in a row, and he was working with realtors, and he kept giving away his printing services as a door prize. And for 8 months, every week, he'd give away free business cards. And he said, in all that time, only 2 people took me up on it. Realtors suck for clients. And I'm thinking, you're the biggest idiot of that. Why wouldn't you discover what they wanted and give that to them instead of proving for 8 months that they don't want your 250 freaking business cards? Stop being selfish. And Steve, when you go ahead and help a client, how do you help them figure out what somebody wants?
The first thing we do is I always say survey to success.
Right.
You have to know what your clients want in order to have success. And so guess what? Ask them. Ask them. They will tell you. People like talking about themselves. And when you say, what is your biggest challenge right now? What is your biggest goal? That gives me loads of information. And if I can help them, I still am with integrity. If I can help them, I will. So that's what you've got to focus on. Asking. Stop pitching and start asking. That guy you were just talking about, he's pitching his business cards. If he would have just stood there and said, what do you want? He would have won.
Well, brother, I want to talk about that. I know we're giving away that as a free gift. So when people come back, they're going to hear about how you and I closed the biggest client ever and how they can use this series of asking questions and using surveys in their business. Even if you think you already know what your client wants, you got to ask. Welcome back. I'm Trevor Crane. You're watching Greatness Quest, and today I'm here with Steve Noblet, and we're talking about big ticket clients and how you make big sales. And we were just talking about what's the mojo, Steve? How does somebody go ahead and sell more, and especially sell a big ticket, high priced item?
Well, selling big ticket, my biggest deals were done in ways that people don't even understand. And this is why I want to share it with you so that you can have this radical shift in your mind. So when I'm sitting with my biggest ones have been big corp, right? You named all these big clients I've been with, and some of these are $500,000, $1 million projects, right? And in 2008, I started doing something different. I didn't do proposals. I said, hell that, I'm not doing proposals anymore. So there I am sitting with $1 billion company, the chief marketing officer. And he's like, we'll get into how we have the conversation because Trevor and I are going to talk about our biggest deal. But let's fast forward. I'm at the end of the conversation and the client says, okay, send me a proposal. And then I said, well, I don't do proposals. And they're like, what do you mean you don't do proposals? I'm like, yeah, I don't do proposals. I said, think about it. What am I going to do? Go back to my car and whip up a quick proposal to send to you? Or even if I went all in on it and I spent the next week or two with all my staff and I tried to make the best proposal ever, it still wouldn't be enough. For me to know, and this comes back to what we're talking about for surveys, I need to know my clients. When I go into a corporate client, I spend 45 to 60 days discovering, doing all the research necessary. I call it a cultural assessment and plan. And at the end, we have a plan to execute. And guess what? You're going to have to pay me for that.
Yeah.
But then I charge for that. And it's thousands of dollars in the 5-figure area, right? Mm-hmm. And I basically then say, with confidence, that if you don't like the plan at the end of it, I'll give you all your money back.
Right. Well, I love that. I've got some management consulting clients right now, and they go in and that's their client. They're huge companies, and they've got to talk to the CEO or the C-suite. They're talking to a board of directors to make this decision. And a lot of them have this mindset that they have to put that proposal forth. But I know you and I are on the same page with this. It's not that you don't come in not prepared, because that's the last thing. It's just I don't want whatever this piece of paper is to go ahead and their evaluation of it can be nothing but, quite frankly, negative. I mean, I guess it could be positive, but I love how you threw that on its what do you call it? Throw it on its ass,
it's
on its
paradigm
ear.
shift. It's flipping it upside down, whatever you want to call it. But then I sit with them. They're like, well, that's not how we do it. And I say, well, how are things working?
Yeah.
And they say, well, that's why we're sitting here with you. They're not going well. I said, well, think of all the competitors that are coming in here bidding against me. They're going to whip up some proposal and you're going to take that as the plan. let me tell you, there's no cookie cutter in business systems and marketing. You need to figure it out for your company, and I'm going to do that for you. And I'm actually doing this out of respect.
Right.
I'm not giving you a proposal because I respect your company too much to sit here and just give you a piece of paper that I scribbled out.
And then you're not only considering what your expectation is about what they want instead of figuring out what they really want and then giving it to them. So, I'm going to tell everybody that you and I work together. They already know that. We've collaborated on some projects, and I took everything I know about sales, everything that I know Steve knows about sales, and put it into my book, High Paying Clients. So I gave it away. I gave them the belief. I gave them the blueprint. I gave them your survey to success that we're going to go ahead and give away today. Yours, the one that you use with your clients. So everybody's going to be able to get that. And by the way, you can get that right now by going to greatnessquest.com / let's just do Steve, because I don't know if they can sell Steve. Napoletano.
Yeah. There you go. Yep.
So greatnessquest.com / Steve. And then, brother, do you have a text number that they can send if they want to text in?
If you want the survey to success, Doc, it's 916-553-2885. You want me to say it one more time?
Yeah, one more time.
916-553-2885. And you just put your email. That's it. Just email. You text your email to that. You're going to promptly get it. It gives you all the information that you need. I've had some of my clients that came back and they had their survey out to everyone in 15 minutes. Literally even tells you what services you can use for free to get your survey done. So it is everything that you need. Even gives you the questions. And yes, you can copy me. I teach copying because you when you go to school, they teach you don't copy, you're going to get in trouble. And then when it comes to making money, copy!
That's it.
Model, baby.
People are like, oh, no, I don't want to do what they're doing. I'm like, well, is it working? Well, yeah, but I don't want to be just like them. Dude, you can't if you freaking tried. Just do your best to stay within the lines. Just copy them. So that's great. And Steve and I copy each other. So we created part of that document together. I put it in my book. It's in my book bonuses, so you'll be able to get it. And I couldn't copy Steve. I had to tweak it and put my little 2 cents into it, right? You have to a certain degree.
Well, and that's the personality. I mean, and Trevor and I can speak on the same thing, and some people are going to gravitate to you, some people gravitate to me. It's part personality, and that's even what I tell people when they come to competition. I mean, if Trevor and I both looked at it and said, oh, there's other marketers out there,
we don't want to share. Don't share that with them, brother.
Yeah. Oh, just go back to bed or what? No, no. You are you. No one can be you, and you can take the same tactics and be you, and you can win.
Well, and I work around a lot of other coaches, authors, speakers, consultants. We both speak, we both present, we both write books, we both are teaching professionals all the time. And oftentimes there are some of those that will be threatened and say, oh, no, I could never refer you to my group because we're in competition. We do the same thing. And that's how Steve and I actually started working together. Is we said, "Oh my God, you do the same thing as me, but you what are your how is your expertise?" And we partnered together on a project called Project Restaurant and started actually a TV show about it because we're having such transformational results for our restaurants. So, brother, tell them about the cocktail napkin. Tell them about our big deal.
So there we are with a client, and they didn't get a proposal. They paid us to be there to build a strategy. So Trevor,
how much did they pay us?
Oh, well, so we each made $100,000 in one day.
Well, no, but just the first conversation. They paid us for the privilege of having the initial conversation.
Oh, yeah, that was $5,000, yeah.
So it's 5 figures just to go ahead and sit down and have the privilege of having the conversation in the first place, and we gave no proposal when you made that sale. You made that introduction and set that up, and so now we're there. We brought another business partner with us because we don't believe in competition but collaboration, so now go.
Yeah, so there we are, and here's, the bottom line. I'm going to keep it super simple. We went and looked at everything that they had going on. We clearly presented it, and this is the thing that Trevor and I kind of created together. I mean, we've thought about it, like Trevor always says, we like to keep it simple, and so do I. And so we said, if we can't fit the plan on this cocktail napkin, then it's too complicated. So we built out a plan on the actual napkin at their restaurant. And then we closed the biggest deal, and it was the most fun too.
Yeah.
I don't think I laughed so hard in any other deal. So I had so much fun, and it was we made 300 grand in one day.
Over.
It was over. Yeah.
Hold on. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching Greatness Quest. Brother Steve Noblet, and we have partnered on some projects together. He's an expert marketer. He just gave away an awesome free gift that you can use right away. Go to greatnessquest.com/Steve, because like it's kind of like Madonna, it's Steve.
Steve, yeah. I had one client, she called me the Steve.
The Steve.
The Steve.
That's what it should be.
Everyone in the office was joking. They're like, when are we changing the company name? The Steve.
Dude, if I'd have started that at the beginning of this interview, that's what it'd be. In fact, if you go to greatnessquest.com/the Steve, you'll get the same free gift. But you can also, on your phone, you can text message your email to 916-553-2885, and Steve's also going to send that to you straight away so you can get that gift. I gave away the Survey to Success, slightly different than Steve's because I've modified it to my individual awesomeness, in the book bonuses for my book High Paying Clients. So make sure you get that. Brother, we were just talking about how we closed a huge deal in one meeting with a cocktail napkin. And just go ahead and pick up where, because it's so exciting, like to do that without a proposal and everything else. And tell them a little bit about it.
Well, I mean, I'm getting tactical here because I want your audience to get something from it. But the simple fact is we found the problems in their restaurant. We also identified what they wanted in their life. They were tired of being chained. Literally, this restaurant owner had a bed in the back of the restaurant because that's how bad it was. He said, fuck it, I'm not going to, oop, did I say that?
I don't know. Did you say anything?
Can we repeat that? No. He's tired of living in the back of my restaurant, and he wanted a change in life. We identified that. If we were just surface level and said, oh, let's bring in a few more people to eat dinner and that'll raise our income. No, this guy wanted a life change.
Yeah.
And because we sat there with him and questioned it and went deep, we were able to identify their true desire in their life, where the problems were, and then we were able to provide a solution plan, and that allowed us to then, have a big deal for us, but a big deal for them. It's kind of what we said at the very beginning of this show. For us to earn, we have to give. So here we are having a great time, high-fiving that we did the biggest deal in our life, and yes, we had a ton of fun, and I remember laughing so hard that my side was hurting, but the fact is we gave. We gave and gave, and then when we were done giving, we gave some more. And these people, they were filled up. There was no reason not to sign with us because we were changing their life. And what value is in that?
Well, and you know what? That's a really key thing here is we closed a really big deal, and we were excited because it was for a variety of reasons, but we get excited about service and helping, and this was the biggest deal for them as well. Like, this was such a mutually beneficial piece. We had one other partner that was helping us with this deal. He's an awesome guy. I'll introduce you guys to him at some point. But it was so cool because they were so excited about their future instead of the challenges and the delusion and the way they're running their business. And this is really cool about your free gift because the first thing we did that day, in fact, we sat down to have lunch at the restaurant during one of the breaks during our marathon session with them. And what Steve pulled out just a plain piece of paper and started the survey process. So Steve, we did that for a multi-million-dollar deal. And this was a restaurant making millions of dollars. It wasn't like a mom and pop restaurant, but we ended up getting equity in this deal as well, which was really cool in one session. But talk to people about the value of surveys, because I've seen people say, I already know what my client needs. I don't need to waste my time with that. And, even if they got the download that we're giving them right now, they're not going to use it. I mean, I've seen that a million times. So tell them why it's important or what you would say to someone who calls BS on this because they already know their client.
Should I even start with, I tell the chiropractic story, which is in the book, but it's so perfect. So we had a client that was a chiropractor and basically, and it's in the book as well, but this story is a turning point for a guy who's now retired before the age of 50. And it's because he took and we surveyed. So I asked the chiropractor, what's the biggest value that you have? And he said, pain relief, absolute pain relief. My clients have back pain. They can't pick up their grandchild. I changed their life. And I said, okay, great. Let's talk to your patients. And then he said, no problem. So we talked to the patients, and guess what they say? On-time appointments. So there was pain relief in there too, but tons of people said on-time appointments. And
okay, so hold on. I got to break that up because it is in the book, and we go ahead. But here's the thing. So the chiropractor, like any other doctor, says, well, my service is what they value. You know, ultimately, I'm so good at what I do, I transform them and they're happy and they get out of pain. So that makes total sense. And actually, in talking to this, you're initially talking to this business owner, did he think there was anything else that was really what people came to him for?
No, that was it. Because he's like even telling me stories how, you know, he's with a spouse, they fixes their back, they wake up in the morning in love with their spouse instead of going, oh, my back hurts so bad. And they're like, he's like, I changed their life.
Right.
So it was deeper than just the pain relief. It was like changing lives from the pain relief, right? So he's deep into that.
Yeah, and he can't get his head out of it because. And here's the thing: if you look in, I don't know, I haven't looked in the yellow pages, but I'm guessing someone else out there is a chiropractor who probably recommends. Let me just think I'm going to guess. Pain relief. I'm guessing that they think that will differentiate themselves, that they are uniquely positioned to transform someone's pain. Is it possible anybody else would have that message?
I would say a ton. Ton. Yes.
Okay,
big winner. So there we are. So we asked the clients what they want, and it's on-time appointments, which is kind of odd.
On-time appointments. Come on, you're so fast. On-time appointments.
On-time appointment. I get so excited with Trevor, right? So on-time appointments. So like having on time. And so I'm like shocked. I'm like, what, you know, even me, like I've seen a lot of stuff and it always comes back, but I go back to the doctor and I'm like, hey, it's on-time appointments. And he said he was shocked, but not that shocked. And I said, well, how come? He said, well, I hate waiting in the lobby for 15, 20 minutes at the doctor's office, then going in to see the doctor and waiting another 15, 20 minutes in the room before the doctor comes in. Now you're 45 minutes to an hour from the time of your appointment. And he said, I didn't want that. And I said, well, and now I'm curious. I'm like, how on time are you? And he said 65, 70% of the time, and which is big for doctor's offices. Like, I'm sure everyone watching this call, at one point waited at a doctor's office, like all of us, right? And I said, well, what if we take it to 95 or 100%? And he said, well, the patients would have to be in on that. I said, well, let's keep surveying. So every call that came in, the receptionist said, okay, we have a 9:30 for you next Tuesday. How would you like to see the doctor right at 9:30? And they're like, yeah, that would be great. And we're like, we just need one thing from you. He's like, what's that? We need you to be on time. So what they did is they created a culture and they said, if you're 5 minutes or more late, your appointment has to be moved. You know, we'll reschedule you. And if you know you're going to be 5 minutes more late, call ahead and we'll reschedule. And sometimes we can get you in the same day, no problem. And everyone embraced it. We're like, is that okay with you? And the patients said yes. So the patients voted this new culture in. And then with that vote, they now fell in love with it. More referrals started coming. We put billboards, on-time appointments. So I literally take the words from my surveys, put it right in my ads, and that's how I win. You think, oh, he's a great advertiser. He's won all these marketing awards. It's probably because he's so creative. My creativity failed me in the early days. I made a lawyer's commercial once, like a movie, and nobody called. And we switched back to his old commercial with him on the edge of his desk with books and books behind him. And then the phone started ringing. Not being creative doesn't win. What wins is giving them what they want. So you find out what your client wants, you give them what they want. Boom! Fireworks, that's marketing. That's how simple it can be. And that's all we did.
Okay, so this is really cool. So if you're not taking notes when you watch my episodes or these episodes, write them down. Take notes. Pull out so find out what your client wants. I know this is rocket science, but I'm going to write it down. Find out what your client wants. I can't even read that, but I get the gist. But
then give it to them.
And then give it to them. Because people don't do that. They don't see the power of it. They're so caught up in their process and all this strategic language that sounds real good. I hear it all the time, and people talk about it, and I'm like, I can tell. I listen to them, and I hear wah, 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 like Charlie Brown. You know, the teacher that talks to Charlie Brown? Wah, wah. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you were talking English. And I could understand that they were complete sentences and you sound very intelligent. I have no idea about what you said right now. I can't repeat any of it back, except I think there's probably excellent service in there or something like that. You know, why does that matter to me? What do you want me to do? What is it that stands out? And people just need to ask. And I would give them another thing, Steve. You didn't talk about, well, actually, hold on. You covered it. Talk to your ideal client. In this case, if you have clients, talk to them. If you don't, then if someone doesn't have clients and they're just starting something, what would you suggest?
Well, if you're just starting and you don't have any clients, you still survey. You still survey. What do I do if I'm at a networking event or I'm out there with someone or even on social media? I want to know 2 questions. I want to have 2 questions answered. Number 1, what is your biggest goal right now? And what is slowing you down or stopping you from having that goal, right? What's challenging you? And I'll tell you how I do that. So if I'm at a networking event, I'm just chit-chatting with someone, asking them what they do for fun or whatever. And then at some point I'll say, you know what? Goals are really important to me. I'm curious. I'm just entirely curious. What is your biggest goal? And then they tell me. They tell me. People want to talk about themselves, so they just flat out tell me. And then this gives me power to help them, because then after they tell me that, I'm like, wow, so your goal is blah, blah, blah. I make sure that I got it clear. They're like, yeah. And I say, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Hey, I'm curious now. Like, is there anything slowing you down or stopping you from having that? And then they tell me, and now I know if I can help them, I'm there. If I can't, then I refer them to somebody else. Either way, I can help them just by knowing what they want and what's slowing them or stopping them from having it are 2 powerful questions that you can then serve your ideal client so well, so well.
Okay, so this is about serving. Hold on, let's go back to the name of our episode today. It's big ticket, big dollar clients. So it sounds to me, you just said, you can do that even if you don't have clients. You can go ahead and just go out to a networking event, selling your thing, whatever it is, your product or service. And that's 2 key questions. What is your biggest goal? Conversationally, not some. This is a script, by the way. This is a very high level, elegant script that like bypasses all their filters so that you're just being curious. And then the second thing is what's slowing you down or stopping you, which now they tell you what their problem is, which is what's going to get them to want to buy from you anyway. Or actually talk to me about that. Which is more compelling to know, the one or the other, the goal or the problem, and why, or both, or what would you suggest?
Yeah, the problem. The problem is more important. I mean, knowing where they want to go is good to have. If you can get both, great. But if you can only get one, I want to know the problem. I mean, just think about it this way. I'll tell a quick short story, is that if you were watching a movie of Trevor and I, and we both say, oh, our life is awesome, and then we go to the next scene, oh, our life is awesome, oh, the next scene, oh, our life is awesome, you're going to turn the movie off. You're going to turn it off. But if you go and watch a movie like Star Wars, if anybody's out there seen Star Wars, the first movie, episode 4, there's a moment when they go into free Princess Leia, right? And they're shooting stormtroopers, and then they get Princess Leia, and they're like, yeah! And then all of a sudden more stormtroopers, and then they're shooting those stormtroopers, and they have to shoot a bin to go down into the trash area. And now they're in trash, but they're still happy that they're not getting shot at by stormtroopers. So there's a moment of woo, right? But then the serpent takes Luke Skywalker's leg, and he's like, oh, and Han Solo's shooting. And then the serpent disappears. Like, did you shoot it? I don't know. And then all of a sudden the walls start coming in, and then they're holding that thing to let the R2-D2 turn off the trash compactors. They're going to die. And then he turns off the trash compactors. That's like 4 or 5 minutes of the movie. And look at the ups and downs. We're attracted to that. And the reason people buy is to get out of pain. Even if you're going to watch a movie like I'm just describing, it's because you want to tune out for 2 hours. You just want to relax. You want to be entertained. So many people go in and they start pitching and they tell their features and benefits and all these things they result to the clients. But that's not what wins the game. What wins the game is holding your client's hand through their pain and getting them out. Getting them out. Be Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and get Princess Leia out of there. Now she's going to give them like a planet or something, I mean, that's what happens. So then how much more could you get?
Well, the salesperson could have been sitting in the trash compactor and said, hold on a second, let me just write up a proposal. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to use a bar and we're going to bridge the gap. And then I'm going to shoot, and then I'm going to use the Force, and I'm going to go kill the Battlestar or whatever it was.
Yeah, there it is. So do you want to buy that or not? Just sign here.
Yeah, and by the way, let me tell you more about me. Let me tell you more about my products and services. Let me tell you how we're going to do that. The pain that is going to be involved. You're going to have to transform this. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to do this. You have to jump through these hoops. You have to read this big proposal. I'm going to send that to you maybe Thursday. Let's meet again so we can meet with your people and your people. So how do you close a big deal? Because you're talking about multi-million-dollar deals, and there's people listening right now, well, bullshit, I'm going to go ahead and have to give a proposal. So what's your real magic?
Well, yeah, I mean, so the thing is, if you get to the pain, And so it comes right back to what we're talking about. They want out of it so bad that they're going to buy in. And I give them an easy step. So instead of saying, let me close you on the $500,000, what did both those big deals, the one Trevor and I talked about right now that we helped with that big restaurant, we gave them a first step. They paid us for a strategy session where we went in for the day and helped them, and then we ended up closing the big deal. Same thing with all of my big clients. I'll go in and do a strategy session or do an actual strategic plan, which maybe is like 12 grand or whatever's appropriate for that size business and for what we need to do, our work. And then after that plan, I totally know where their pains are. I know all the stuff because I've surveyed, right? I've gone deep. And then there's no way that they're like, wow, you've done all this work with me. You're the one that discovered this. So why would I not sign with you?
Right.
And you have the plan to get out. And I'm like, yeah, so let's go do it. So I close right there in the meeting because of that moment that you're there with them emotionally. Sometimes I have to do follow-up, but I usually only do one follow-up. I'm not the guy I don't chase or convince, and I don't have to, because in the moment, if I've connected with that other human being at that deep level, then it's there. I've had marketing directors crying in the room with me where you think, oh, it's a professional environment. They're a chief marketing officer. That's not going to happen. But when their job's on the line, how much more pain can that be? Like if they don't turn the marketing around, they could be fired and then have, what?
See, and here's what you're talking about right now. You're talking about one individual. So this is really key. If you're going to sell to a board of directors, remember there's not a board of directors and there's no company. There's only people that are making decisions. And so each of those people needs to make a decision, and what's important to them is going to be different, right? The owner of the company is going to be different from someone with a job. If you're selling the future profits of the company to someone who's got a job, they probably are more concerned about protecting their ass and whether or not they're going to look bad if they make the recommendation to send you up the chain. So what you're talking about here is getting clear about, in this case, a marketing director who said, who got emotional for whatever reasons were emotional to him, why this was important to him, and you found out how you would meet those needs, not in an a-hole way, but in a way that you could go ahead and you found out what he needed, you found out what he wanted, and then if you had you gave it to him so you could take it up the chain or collect that decision. What would you say? Well, I'm sorry, were you about to say something?
No, it's good. I'm piggybacking on what you said. Go ask.
Okay, so what about someone who says deals take a long time? I've got a longer sales cycle, Steve. Trevor, my client, it might take months and months and months to get a deal. What do you say to someone who makes that excuse? And they probably create the result. So if they're hearing me right now, they're like, you're not making an excuse. That's the way it is.
Well, yeah, the only time that I've seen that is when you have someone that's in contract, and it does happen. They're in contract with an ad agency and they can't get out. So then you do have to schedule that next appointment when they're coming out due out of their contract. But if that's not in place, then it is total BS. It's totally a mind thing, because when you're sitting with someone, I just plain out say, if they're like, well, let me think about this. Well, I'm like, well, we've just spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours talking about everything. What have we not thought about? I ask them because they're like, well, and if there's nothing, then I'll say, well, then what's going on? Like, I thought we were here together. Like, do you want me to help you or not? And if they say no, then I'm out, because I can't help someone that doesn't want help. So when I'm looking at it, that's usually why. If they're backing away, they don't want help. They're not ready to release and say, Steve, guide me to the promised land. They're thinking in their head, well, I could still figure this out myself. Well, okay, good luck, and I'll talk to you later. And I move on.
Brother, let's talk about a failure then as well. I want to wrap this up with not just a celebrating, woohoo, we helped a client, all that. Nobody wants to hear that. But that same weekend that we were closing, you know what deal I'm talking about?
Oh, the one in, should I even say the city?
Yeah, don't even say the city.
I know.
It's in Northern California.
Yep.
And I was out there for a couple of weeks just with Steve and our partner to go ahead and help with a couple of deals. And we met with this client. And they were I'll give you my recollection of it first. This potential restaurant that we were going to work with had invested $2.5 million in their establishment so far in the last couple of years, like 2.5 years or something like that. They were currently losing $25,000 a month and had been doing so since the day they opened. So it's 2.5 years later, and we sat down to have the conversation. In this case, I let Steve just take it because he was rolling. You had rapport with the client. You were going on. You talked to him about what he wanted. You talked to him about what he didn't want. We got some total clarity about how we could help. There were so many things we could do to help. Tell him what happened next.
It was so sad. I mean, it was literally, and I said this in the meeting. I said, the plane is crashing. And this guy had so much money. That's why he was able to do it, but he was running out. So here's a multimillionaire, and in 6 months' time, he was going to lose the restaurant and everything. And I said, you are crashing. We're going down. I said, we can help you pull that up. Oh, right? And have the thing. And he said, no, I want to figure it out on my own. He's like, because I want to do it different. I don't want to do what everyone else has done. That's what he thought in his head. And so we had to walk away from that meeting knowing that we could save his life. It's like walking by a man that's hanging off of a cliff. And they're hanging on. And I'm like, and you hold your hand out. I can help you up the cliff. And they're like, no, I got it, man. I'm like, no, your fingers are turning red. Like, you're about to fall. Like, how much longer can you really hold that? And they say, I'm good. Thank you.
See, and I want to point this out because Steve, and this way it's also so powerful for you to use a team. Steve wasn't there alone. He and I in this stage we're there. We don't always sell together. We don't always work together. We are doing a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a hell of a lot of fun. But the thing is that you have a different perspective. So I remember this was going on, and Steve, you were just about to give him our package prices. Like, this is how we can move forward. Mm-hmm. And to my recollection, I don't even think you mentioned the number because I think I paused you and I said, hold on, because I saw the dynamic of what was going on, and this guy was so closed off. Like, I got it. And you were in solution zone, like, all right, we'll do this, and you were creating the plan. And I remember pausing, and I said, hold on, I don't remember his name, Mr. Jones, or whatever his name was, right? I stopped him, and I said, do you want help with this?
Yeah.
And he blathered on, and I was like, hold on. We are in a position, Steve just gave you all, we talked about where you are, we talked about where you're going in the next 6 months, and you're going to be broke, and you can't keep the doors open any longer. We've done this before, do you want our help? And he said no. And I remember thinking, I think I had asked that 3 times to get it. And
at least I want to say it was maybe 5. We got to the point because we wanted to help him so bad. It's like a person bleeding everywhere on the floor. And we're like, do you want to bandage that up? And he's like, I'm good.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Blood spewing from a severed limb. And I remember being so grateful that I was actually, as much fun as we had on the deal that we closed, we were all having a good time. I enjoyed that one even more because it was such a gift to not work with a client who didn't want our help, because we had enough influential skills that we might have been able to sell him something. And thank God we didn't. I mean, I just ran out of there as fast as I could in a really good way. He didn't want our help, so why should we be wasting his time?
Yeah.
And people are scared of a no. You can't be scared of a no. A lot of times people say, oh, I'm making mistakes. Trevor, when I'm talking to you, you finally made me realize what mistakes I'm making with my clients. And it's like, that's not it. If you don't get the deal, learn from it. But there's a reason why you didn't get it. And maybe you weren't meant to have that deal. And I celebrate no's just as much as I do as yeses, thank God. I'm not going to deal with a maybe. I mean, people will vacillate in maybe land.
Fence. Yeah, it's I'm 100% with you, Trevor. And I find myself, it's funny, I didn't notice this till right now having this conversation with you, but I think that I say no more than my clients do now. Because I'm discovering matches. Who do I want to work with? And so I actually go through my whole process and I'm deciding, can I help this person? Am I the right person to help them? And then what Trevor just said clearly, do you want help? And I ask that every time. And before I give a proposal, before I even, and what I mean by a proposal is like proposing with my mouth, not with paper.
Proposing the options or on a cocktail napkin. Let me pull out a piece of paper and outline what this looks like.
That's it.
And then here's what I'll recommend. Now, by the way, if you're wanting to know the secrets of how to do this, I outline them all in the book. I've got some extra trainings that go down that I give away where I walk you through the high level, the easy 4 words to this process that you can follow through. There's 4 simple steps. That's all in the book, High Paying Clients. You can get the great book bonuses that are in there that'll teach you how to do it. Steve is giving away his Survey to Success, and you can get that again. I'm sure we'll pop it up here on the screen, greatnessquest.com/Steve or the Steve if you want to be awesome about it. And then, brother, I know you've got something coming up right now. You just have a new virtual program that's available where you hold someone's hand and take them through a big thing. Talk to me about that.
The client capture course. It's something that I sold for $4,000 before I lived in Australia. And then last year when I came back from Australia, I decided to give that course away. And we built it into a virtual course so anybody can take it from anywhere in the world. And it gives you the main objectives of how I capture clients. And so, like exactly what I do, and make it digestible so you can take it and win with it. And here's the best part, because I really want to help as many entrepreneurs have the freedom in their life, we're doing it for $97. So $97, I decided I want to give my stuff away. And you know what? If people want help, they'll come ask me and I'll be able to work with them. And that's where, again, I'm giving. It's full circle from the beginning of our call. I'm going to give it away. You go win, and you just go on Facebook. Tell me how it changed your business. Tell me how it changed your life. That's what fills me up and allows me to keep giving. So $97. All you do is go to clientcapturecourse.com. Clientcapturecourse.com. It's easy, and you start capturing more clients. It's awesome.
I remember when we revamped that training, we talked about how to make it better, make it easier, make it more impactful. I know we did that over a year ago. And then you were teaching that, and so we created that course as a $4,000, $5,000 course. So this is the real deal. I haven't seen the new version of it, but it's phenomenal because it has simplicity and getting you into action. All the time I'm talking to people like, well, I'm ready to, pretty soon I'm going to start following up on those business cards. I've got about 40 of them sitting here, and I'm going to get around to doing that here pretty soon. So
it'll work, man. Well, yeah, now it's only $97, Trevor, so you can get the latest version.
All right, well, I'm going to see if I can't work. Oh, I can get the latest version. Yeah, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, hey, if I didn't try to close the sale on this TV
but
show,
I really want it. Hold on, send me a proposal.
I don't do those.
And that's another thing. It's important to remember the power of no. Like when you tell somebody that's just send me a proposal. That's another way they say no to you, by the way. This jump through another hoop, give me another filter, waste more of everybody's freaking time, protect my job so I don't have to do anything, make any decisions. You're not serving people with allowing them to get away with that. So we want to go ahead and give you the free gift, so make sure you go get that. If you're interested in Client Capture course, go check it out. Steve and I are going to do a whole bunch of we always are doing cool stuff with each other, so make sure you check them out. Spell your last name, brother, so they can find you as well.
Napolitan. So that's N as in Nancy, Apolitan. And yes, Steve Noblet all over social media, you'll find me. Yep.
Cool. So, because some people are going to be getting this on a podcast, I want to make sure they can get it. They're not looking at how beautiful we are. Although you've got a couple more hairs on your head than I do.
Just a few, right? Yeah.
That's beautiful hair, brother.
I notice I get that, more from men than women. Like I'll be in an elevator, and then guys will look over me like, nice hair, man.
Yeah, well, and mine's I pretend my hair is blonde, but that's platinum blonde.
Baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Way to go. Rock it.
Whatever I got left. All right, man. We'll see everybody watching right now next week on Greatness Quest. I've got someone else that's going to rock your world. I'm always bringing you a business leader that has created success themselves. I want you to design your ideal business so you can have your ideal life. And I've met a lot of people over the years. My focus, my mission is to go ahead and find as many of them as I can to help you and I succeed at a higher level. So we'll see you next week on Greatness Quest. Steve, anything else you want to share with our awesome audience here?
Hey, lots of love. Just go follow your dream. The last thing I'll give you is people say never quit, never quit. Never quit your dream, but it's okay to quit plans because sometimes the plan sucks and you got to start over. So if it's not working for you and you're not achieving your dream, change the plan, but don't quit your dream.
Beautiful, brother.
Greatness Quest is also available for download on iTunes and Stitcher. See the link in the description below.